So, good afternoon. Hello to you. I am so excited to be tuning back in once again today, lighting up all of these social media streets, bringing a message of empowerment to women who are ready to make this incredible shift into entrepreneurship. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Denise Taylor. I am a business strategist and coach. I transitioned after my corporate career into helping empower women to step into entrepreneurship. So I have been showing up live, and I have a commitment to show up live throughout this entire month to really energize you being more enterprising, you embracing your power to really become all that God has called you to be. And here's what I mean by that. I believe for many women, you have a resume that says executive, but the calling that you feel on your heart, the calling that you feel within, that intense, relentless nudge that you feel says that you are to be an entrepreneur. And I want to help you make that journey. I want to help you launch the right business. I want to help you be able to accelerate your business so that you can make maximum impact and money. Maximum impact and money is the ultimate goal. Every day I've been waking up and just really sitting quietly as I think about what I want to share on the day. So some of you may think I have this all plotted out. I have an end goal in mind, but I try to always just remain open and available to what I believe I'm being led to share, especially in an experience like this that I believe is going to be both transformative and activating for people who are ready. We are at the point where we're on the second half of 2025. It's so incredible to think about that. We are already on the second half of this year. And I know that there are so many people who started out the year with these great goals of what they wanted to achieve, and you may have lost momentum. You may have lost steam. You may not have progressed in the ways that you wanted to towards your goals. And I want to energize that. I want to empower you to stay connected, to keep moving forward. And I also want to invite you into an experience that will help you to be able to accelerate your success even more. And so every day I've been waking up, I've been spending my quiet time listening to what I need to share in this season, listening to what will be impactful for you. And I believe that now that we're into day 3, this is going to serve you well. Now, as I was reflecting on yesterday, I think I shared some of the best tips ever. I did a post this morning because I believe the engines are starting to rev. I believe my mojo is coming back, if I could say it that way, of returning to the mic. Some of you may know I long had a podcast that went for a number of years, and I took a little break from doing podcasting, but coming to the mic feels like home for me. And being able to share a lot about going from corporate to entrepreneur just feels right. And so I want to continue to lean into that because in this season, it is time for us to be more enterprising. It is time for us to give ourselves permissions to step into that CEO set of responsibilities so that we can open up opportunity for ourselves and legacy for our families. And when I woke up this morning and I started thinking about what I shared on yesterday, I was like, man, that live stream was fire, especially if you're at that crossroads where you're trying to determine what your next step is. I gave you some straight nuggets of what it is you need to do once you have given yourself permission to move forward. And the first thing I gave as a nugget is you don't need to rush. A lot of us, we want these instantaneous, fast results. We want it to happen quickly. And the reality is your career didn't happen quickly and your business may not happen quickly either. And while we can still have faith for God to do some incredible magnificent miracles, and he certainly can accelerate time. A lot of us are going to have to put in the work, hold fast to our faith, and really remain committed to the journey, committed to the process. And so the real first thing that I think we have to do is to give ourselves grace and space for the journey. We do not need to rush. Now, my pace may be more accelerated than yours, but the one key piece of advice that I will never forget that Dr. Glenn gave me when I first started on my entrepreneurial path, he said to me, Denise, stay in your lane. There is no traffic there. And what that said to me was, I am not in competition with anybody else. I am in my lane, doing my thing. And that's the same advice I give to you. Stay in your lane. There's no traffic there, but keep moving forward. Don't feel like you are left behind. Don't feel like you need to rush, but stay committed to the goals that you're working to achieve. The second thing that I will tell you is that clarity does not come from thinking. It comes from action. It comes from actually building. And where we left off on yesterday was really seeing if the builder was awakening in you. If you sense that you had this incredible nudge that you wanted to give response to, and the builder was waking up in you, then I gave you 5 things, 5 deliberate things that you need to do in order to honor what was happening in your life. The first thing is just that. Don't be dismissive of the nudge. Honor the nudge. I call it this evolution ick. You can sense yourself expanding. You can sense yourself desiring more. You can sense yourself wanting more. It's starting to awaken within you, and honor that. That's not noise, it's direction. So cultivate it just like you would a delicate flame that you are trying to get to take fire, to take off. Be honoring of the nudge you feel. Don't dismiss it. It is not random. The second thing I told you that you need to do is be willing to define what more actually means to you. When I talk to people and they say, well, I just want more, and they don't put anything on the other end of that. And it really is hard to understand if we're tracking in the right direction, if we don't know what we're going after. And so it is very important for you to get a grasp of what it is that you want more of. What do you want? Do you want more time? Do you want more ownership? Do you want more creativity? Do you want to make more impact? The truth is you cannot build what you haven't defined. So you've got to take some time to put some thought power, some strategy power to it, and talk about what that more is. The third thing I told you need to do when you finally sense that the builder is awakening in you is you got to audit your genius. I talk a lot and have talked a lot for years now about operating in your zone of genius. And that is so critically important. And your genius is tied to the answer to this one question. What are you amazing at that feels easy to you but valuable to others? That is your genius. What are you amazing at that feels easy to you, but valuable to others? That's the foundation of your business. Now, my framework is purpose plus positioning equals profits. Starting with purpose means we've got to key in to what you're great at doing that other people need done. We've got to key into what feels amazing to you, but valuable to others. It's not about your LinkedIn title. It really is about what problem you are solving. The fourth thing is this: you got to decide not to go back to sleep. And what I find is we kind of play around with this sensation a little bit, and then we dismiss it and we go back to sleep. But the truth is you got to stay with it. You got to stay connected to what it is that you've been called to do. You got to stay in the game. You got to stay connected. Once your calling wakes you up, don't hit the snooze button. You don't necessarily have to quit your job tomorrow. In fact, my strategy says we need a pivot plan, but you do need to say yes to your future. And saying yes to your future does not cancel out the responsibilities that you have today. So you've got to stay awake. You got to stay in it. And then finally, the fifth thing that we ended with, which is probably the most powerful notion, is that you got to get in the room that matches the move you're making. This is really, really key. And for many of us, because we have really leaned in on our own gifts, talents, and abilities to be able to achieve the success that we now enjoy, we don't really prioritize, appreciate, and take full advantage of what it means to get in the room that matches the move that you're making. That is probably one of the most strategic moves you can make. Surrounding yourself with support, surrounding yourself with people that can see what's possible for you. When you're in the thick of it, it's almost like the forest for the trees. You can't see it all. And you need someone who can not only see your growth edges, but has a good understanding of your potential. They're not competitive with you. They want to see you succeed. Those were the things that I covered yesterday. And the point number 5 is the one that I believe is the game changer. And it's why I'm showing up this entire month to offer you the opportunity to get in the room that matches the move that you are wanting to make. Corporate to Entrepreneur Live is going to take place in Charlotte, North Carolina at the end of October. There is still room in the room. There is still space for you to get connected and join in. And this is my personal invitation to you. This experience is not about hyping you up, but it's about walking with you as you begin to truly build and accelerate what belongs to you. I know what it's like to be spending time proving yourself. But now this move, this intentional move to get into an experience like Corporate to Entrepreneur Live is about positioning yourself, not proving yourself, but positioning yourself. And so it's my personal invitation today for you to join me in that room that matches the move you're making. If you're in the position where you really want to launch and accelerate the right business, this experience is for you. And you can learn more at www.theceoshift.live. Now let's get into day 3. That was enough of a recap from day 2. Let's get into day 3. And this is focused on you don't want to hustle. You really want to find something that's in alignment with who you are. And, I had the opportunity to have an interview earlier today. Someone was interviewing me. Her name is Jenny. She was interviewing me and she started off saying, oh, a lot of people want to get out of corporate. And that is true. And a lot of them want to get out because they have poor leadership. They don't have really good guidance. They don't have a career plan for their success. And so there's all of these factors that want to force them out. It's almost like avoidance and running away. But for the person that I'm called to help in this season, it really isn't about escape. It's about expansion. And if you are into expansion, you know that expansion isn't a quick come up. It's not a hustle. It really is an intentional strategy to find something that we can go the distance with, something that is aligned with who you are and what lights you up, what allows you to tap into your purpose, because that's what's going to sustain you. And so the key thing about launching the right business is that business is going to fit you, and it's not necessarily going to fit some other purpose. It's going to be built around you, your values, and what you actually want. And so if I had to say what the purpose of what I'm trying to really inspire you with today, I want to help you release the fear that building a business means starting from scratch. I want to help you release the fear that building a business means sacrificing the success you've achieved. I want to help you release the fear that building a business is about proving yourself all over again. Here's the thing. We are not starting from scratch. We are starting from the success you have achieved and allowing that to bring so much credibility to the marketplace as a key asset in the continuation or extension of your success. And when you can really begin to understand that what really is going to be necessary for you to get where you need to go, it is not about starting over. It is about understanding what your terms are, and it is about continuing the success that you have already achieved. Now, the terms, hey, Dr. Joan, the terms, it's something that's in alignment with you. It's something that you can have ownership of, and it's at the center of who you are, which is purpose. So that's the core of what I want to cover today. Now, we're 3 days into this journey, and it's a journey that I've committed to for this entire month, but we're 3 days in. And over the last 3 days, here's one thing that I hope you have realized. I hope you have realized this. It's not that you're tired of work. It's that you're tired of work that no longer reflects who you are. And those are two very different things. So when we're talking about going from corporate to entrepreneur, it is not that you don't believe that you don't have a responsibility to work. It's not that you don't believe that you don't have contributions to still be made. It's not that you don't believe that there is still success on the table for you. And so, what I hope is starting to register and click is that you're not tired of work. You're just tired of the work that no longer reflects who you are. That is why I say all the time there is a key difference between burnout and misalignment. Burnout is fatigue, overuse, and the strategies to remedy that are rest, not start a business. But when you realize that what you're doing no longer reflects what values you have and who you are on the inside, the solution then becomes something else that can continue the success and also be aligned with who you are. I hope that makes sense. And so, what I hope you have captured or gleaned so far in our journey is that you're not tired of work. And so, if you've been thinking that's what it is, and you've been thinking, I got to just stop doing that, that's not the issue. The issue for the woman that really wants to step into her next and make impact as well as income is she is no longer connected to the work that used to satisfy her. It's like dancing with the old partner, and that partner just doesn't know the new moves that you want to make on the dance floor. So here's the thing I know about you also, because it was true about me. I had achieved too much to chase after hype. I'm not looking for hype. I am looking for something that is along the same lines as the strategies that I oversaw and ran in the boardroom. And so I'm not trying to go into a conference room and hear a next big idea or get connected to some other kind of network marketing scheme. I want to implement something that is going to ignite impact that resonates with who I am now. And that's a key principle, who you are now. This is why when you see some people start things, it fizzles out over time because it was a good idea, but it wasn't a God calling. And I want to go back to the sentiment where I started and where I start all of the time. Your resume may say executive, but your calling says entrepreneur. And for that reason, it has to resonate deeper with you. You have to be more connected to the impact. You have to be more connected to the mission. Otherwise, after a few months, you're going to be searching for the next idea. And you're going to realize that it didn't come inside the walls with the promotion, and it didn't come just trying to figure out how you could start something or jump on someone else's bandwagon. Your success says vision is connected in you. And because vision is connected in you, it's bigger than you. Which means that you are going to have to give yourself fully to building the vision that you have been inspired. It's not going to be something that someone hands to you. It's not going to be handed to you. The vision may be buying an existing business, but that existing business is going to be connected to your purpose. So let's talk about what the key points are. Now that we have that understanding, like we're not tired of work, but we are tired of doing the things that no longer light us up, that we're not connected to. B.B. King said the thrill is gone. Okay. So I just want to reiterate again, you don't hate work. And if you let that mindset go, you give space for the right kind of thinking to come in, because a lot of people dread going to work. I hate going to work. They dread the drive. They dread getting dressed. They dread everything about the experience. But I want you to reframe that. You don't hate work. You hate working against yourself. Hear me. The problem isn't effort. It's exhaustion that you're sensing because of the misalignment. You're excellent at what you do. You've proven that, and that's why you've achieved success. And if we're quite honest, you're not as into it as you once were, but the success is still happening for you because you know how to make it happen. Okay. So you're excellent at what you do, but your heart has left the room. Hear me. You're excellent at what you do, but your heart has left the room. You don't want more busyness. And that is why those great ideas fizzle fast, because they introduce activity, but they don't introduce meaningful movement forward. And so what I want to dispel is you are not burned out. You're being invited to build something that fits you. Hear me. You are not burned out. You are being invited to build something that fits you. This is an invitation. It's an invitation to go into your next level and begin to build something that is enterprising and legacy proof. Something that will live on beyond you for those who are to come. The other thing I know about you is you are not fooled by the noise. You're just focused on what's at stake. And it's that what's at stake that has held you at bay because you have accumulated a lot. You have accumulated a lot of success. You have accumulated a lot of responsibility. You got nice houses. You like a nice lifestyle. You like things a certain way. Believe me, I know. So it's not that you are being fooled by noise. You're just focused on what's at stake. So you're not falling for this hustle culture, and you're not falling for overnight success promises, because you know the truth of what it took for you to achieve in your career. So you're not falling for it. You've built a life that you're proud of, and you're not risking it on hype. But despite the fact that you're not risking it on hype, does not let the nudge go away. It's still tugging at you. That ick, that elevation, I mean, not elevation, but evolution ick that you are feeling is still present with you. It makes you wake up. It makes you restless. It keeps your thoughts constantly thinking in so many different what if scenarios. So one of the questions that you have to ask yourself and be really honest about on this journey is, what are you willing to do? Are you willing to build something that extends your success into legacy? Or are you willing to just sit there and allow this ick that you feel to torment you? So we know you're not being fooled by noise. So you're not falling for the hustle or the game. That's not it. You're too smart for that. But you do have to answer the question, what are you willing to do? At the top of this talk, one of the things I specifically said is clarity comes when you start taking action, when you start building. And so for you to be waiting on answers, the answers are waiting for your action so that they can be revealed. So the real question is, what are you willing to do? Are you willing to build something that extends the success you have achieved into legacy? And here's the thought. You're not afraid of starting, if we're honest. You're afraid of starting something that's not worth what you've already built. And that is the tug of war. And when you are assessing that, you are assessing it from a perspective of done versus having to do. And so it feels easy to just stay where I am. You're not afraid of the start. You're just afraid of starting something that's not worth what you've already built. So let's keep going. I want you to embrace this concept that you get to build a business that honors three key things. Now, I will tell you that I have learned that the third aspect of this is critically important. And when I listen to a lot of business coaches talk, they talk about the first two. But the third one is critically important, especially for you, because of what's at stake. Remember, you're not afraid of starting. You're afraid of starting something that may not be worth what you've already built. And we know what you build is valuable. We know your lifestyle is valuable. We know that your family is valuable. We know that the things you enjoy are valuable. But here's the thing I want you to embrace as a thought or concept is that you get to build a business that honors your purpose. And when we talk about purpose, the best explanation I can share is the one that Dr. Daniel shared in his book, Purpose is Calling. In the book, he said that when we honor our purpose, there are three things that are released. We are happy, we are helpful, and we are healthy. Hear me. We are happy, helpful, and healthy. Now, the converse is obviously true. When you are not operating in purpose, when you are not operating in what fulfills you and feels like it's worth it to you, you start to feel unhappy. The second thing that happens when you're working and it doesn't fulfill you and you're working and you don't feel connected to you is you start to develop unhealthy habits. And the third thing that starts to happen when you are unfulfilled and what you are doing doesn't feel like it's worth the effort is you feel unhelpful. And so when we talk about that you have this incredible opportunity to build a business that honors your purpose, the thing that is in it for you is that you get a chance to connect with your happiness, you get a chance to connect with being healthy, and you get a chance to connect with being helpful. It is the thing that is going to fulfill you, and it's also going to feel worth the effort. And so when I talk about myself and I talk about the journey that I have been on, and as I lean more and more into purpose, all of those things have lit up for me. I am happy, I am healthy, and I am absolutely helpful. And I have done that because I get to build a business that honors my purpose. So that's the first one. The second thing is when you get to build a business that honors your genius, it's honoring the thing that comes naturally to you and creates value for others. And I like to always talk about your zone of genius. I think that God has given you a zone of genius. In fact, you may have many, but in your zone of genius, it operates with grace and ease. It won't be struggle for you. People will wonder and marvel at how you do what you do. And for you, it will feel like nothing because you're groomed for it. You're created for it. It brings value to others. Now, those two principles I hear a lot when people start talking about the business that honors you. They talk a lot about purpose, and that's the right thing to talk about. They talk a lot about doing the thing that you enjoy doing, or like I like to say it, your zone of genius. But here's the thing that we sometimes forget to prioritize in the right way when we are building a business model is that you have to incorporate for the woman who has done and achieved all the things, who has checked many boxes and enjoys great success, who has at their disposal many of the things they desire and want. You have to incorporate in the business model lifestyle. What is the lifestyle that she wants to live? When you get to a certain point in your life, there are some very explicit things that you are willing to do, and there's some very explicit things that you are not willing to do. And so when I work with my clients, we absolutely talk about purpose. We absolutely talk about your zone of genius. But for me, when I am helping you curate your business model, it is incredibly important for us to also talk about the lifestyle that you desire. What are you no longer willing to sacrifice? What is it that are table stakes for how you want to live your life? And I know for me, and I have exampled this, I have lived it out loud. You guys have seen the receipts and the evidence. One of the things that I committed to way back in 2019, before I was even full-time entrepreneur, is that I wanted to work from anywhere. And I don't mean anywhere like the coffee shop down the street. I mean anywhere in the world. I wanted to construct a business model that could go with me as I experienced life. I wanted a business that fit into my life. I did not want work where my life had to fit into it. And this is why it is so incredibly important for the woman I serve who is at a certain point in her life that we have to factor in lifestyle. The lifestyle and what is she no longer willing to sacrifice. And while the table stakes for me was the desire to be able to work from anywhere in the world, your table stakes may be different. You may have a desire for closeness of a relationship or family. You may have a desire for your ability to have the freedom to farm or be able to spend time outdoors. You may have a desire for your ability to be able to enjoy a certain activity. You get to say, because it's a factor in the business that you get to build that honors you. I want to be real clear because this isn't about quitting. And that is one of the reasons why when I'm having conversations with people, I try to tease out what is the real reason why you are going for your next chapter of entrepreneurship. Because if you are on the run from corporate, then this is not a program for you. I want to extend your success. I want to allow you to have the opportunity to continue in your success, not abandon it, not escape from it. So this isn't about quitting. It's about designing a business that protects your peace and expands your potential. And my last talking point for today is this. I really want to double down on the fact that you're not starting over, that indeed you are starting aligned. Like one of the thoughts that people have is when they make this pivot or shift, one that is necessary for their success, is that they are abandoning or leaving everything they have accomplished so far. And that is not the case. One of the mindset shifts that I had to do when I left corporate was to really understand that everything that I had accomplished in every one of the roles that were successful, it all came with me when I walked out the door. So there is no way I was starting over. I had way too much experience, way too much exposures, way too much credibility, way too much that I brought to the table to dare say I was starting over. So there is no beginner. You're experienced, you're insightful, you're capable, you're proven. So you are not at the beginning trying to prove yourself again. I want you to hear me clearly. This pivot isn't about proving yourself. It's about positioning yourself differently so that in your next chapter, it's the ownership that allows you to be able to stand on a firm foundation and go the distance even further. Ownership is key. So one of the things that I want you to embrace is that you're not building from scratch when you allow yourself to step into your next chapter. You're continuing your success. And on top of that, you are building from strength. Strength. And when we talk about alignment and when we talk about strength, strength needs alignment because it needs resonance, meaning it has to resonate with you. Strength needs that. It has to sound and feel like you. And that's the reason this isn't about chasing a next success. It's about building something that resonates with the woman you have become. So you're not starting over. You're starting from strength that brings to light something that resonates with you. You're starting with strength that needs congruence. Congruence is a very powerful word that speaks to integrity with your values, integrity with who you are, your identity, and integrity with the work that you are able to do. That's what your strength needs, and that's what you bring to the table. We are craving that. And when we don't have that, that's what shows up as that ick in the worst place that you feel, and you think, I'm burned out. No, you're misaligned. You're craving for something to be in alignment with your values, something to be in alignment with your identity, something to be in alignment with who you are. And a business that reflects who you are and not just what you can do is a solution for you. You are tapping into a strength that needs identity. It needs identity. It needs integrity. It needs every aspect of you. So this isn't about ethics. It's about the wholeness and truth of who you are and where you are. The wholeness and truth of who you are and where you are. And this is the reason why the success that used to fit now feels like you're shrinking to stay in it. It's because you've outgrown that space. You've outgrown that opportunity. And now you need to take the reins and be empowered to step into your next and own that opportunity, own that next experience. So the success that once fit no longer feels in integrity with who you are now. So when we talk about the strength, right? The strength that's necessary for you, it really is about being in alignment. And that means it has to resonate. It has to be congruent with you, with who you are. It has to be a fit. It has to be right sized for you. The other thing, I did skip over a few things, but I want to say this one. The strength needs full expression. What you're starting to do with the dishonesty and the disconnection with the workplace is you're starting to shrink and not allow your full self to be present, not allow your full self to come through. You want a business that can allow that full expression of who you are to take center stage. And so I know a lot of people are throwing the word alignment around, but in my world, because I help people, or I help women launch what I call purpose-driven businesses. So in my world, alignment equals purpose-driven. It equals being connected to you. It equals resonating with you. It equals being congruent and integrity with you. Purpose-driven means it is centered around who you are and who you are now. So alignment means building from within, not for applause. It's connected to who you are. And so that fulfillment tank that you have on the inside is getting full and full and more full every time you operate in your business. So it's not proving that you're capable. It's about being called to something greater. I know that called term seems a little, like churchy. But being called to something greater just means that you have this internal inkling that is relentless and won't let you up. It won't let up. And at this stage, it's not about doing more. It really is about doing what's yours. And so going after promotion, it's not going to be fulfilling because the inkling is calling for ownership. Ownership builds direction. Ownership casts vision. And so the sentiment that I want to leave you with today is this one. I want you to really activate this mindset shift to say, I am not here to hustle. I am here to align. I am not here to hustle. I am here to align. I am here to make impact doing the thing that I have been created and designed to do. And it's going to come forth in my business. Now, one of the things I told you that is an action to be taken is to get into spaces that are moving in the direction that you need to go. And that is why I'm so excited about the Corporate to Entrepreneur Live, because as I continue to unearth all of these sentiments and all of these perspectives, what I want you to know that there is a space. There is a space where you will not be asked to shrink. In fact, you'll be asked to rise. Where you will not be asked to hustle. In fact, you'll be asked to dream, to cast vision, to see greater. Will you not be asked to start from zero, but you'll be asked, what am I great at and how can I build upon that to solve problems in the marketplace? That's what Corporate to Entrepreneur Live is. Now, I was asked a question. I mentioned that I was on a podcast interview earlier today, and I was asked a question about this event. And someone said, well, if I already have a business, can I come? And I said, absolutely. Because when I take on clients that already have businesses, I will tell you, one of the things I find really quickly is they have not positioned themselves well in the marketplace. And I already talked about my signature fulfillment framework. It's purpose plus positioning equals profits. All of those things are necessary in order to accelerate your success. And so while you may have identified the thing to do, if you don't have it positioned well in the marketplace, you need strategy. And this is a strategic event. And so if you're already in business, if you've already launched, this is the place where strategy and a plan is going to come to your vision. You're going to have the opportunity to go to the marketplace with the right messaging to attract your target clients. And you're going to get strategic guidance on how to accelerate your success so that you can make impact and income. That's what this experience is. And so if you already have a business, that is not a gating factor for not being in the room, because this room is moving in the direction that you want to go. So this morning, as I was thinking about how to close out our time, I was thinking about why I was intentional about creating this as an intimate in-person experience. And I've hosted intimate in-person experiences before, and I think I lean into them versus large conference rooms of people. And obviously, when you can bring together conference rooms of people, that's a good thing too. It's just not my jam, not for something like this. What I find is when I curate these intimate spaces, no one gets lost in the back row. Because in a world full of crowded conferences and off-camera Zooms, we crave spaces where we can actually be seen. I have designed every detail to feel personal, not performative. And because my clients aren't looking for hype, this space is energized to ensure you leave with clarity, strategy, and connection. And this space is also curated in a way that it can call you higher. This experience works because within them, I build them around the people who are going to be in the room instead of the activities that are going to take place. You see, when you're in a large conference room and you're curating an event, there's a lot of effort around the activity taking place rather than the people in the room. For me, it's important that every seat is a front row seat. For me, it's important that every voice gets to matter. For me, it's important that every woman leaves with far more than inspiration, but that she leaves with alignment and a plan. It's how I stay connected to the work that matters the most for me. I don't want to just coach you from a distance or just talk to you from a distance. I want to look you in the eye. I want to hear your vision, and I want to help you build what's next. So this isn't about big stages. It's not about big crowds. When I went to visit the location over the weekend, I was so pleased because it had a loft feel where all of us could be there together. While it doesn't have a big stage and while it doesn't have a big crowd, it's about making a big shift, one of the biggest shifts that many of us will ever make. The power of being in that room, it's powerful because you'll have a sense of belonging. And you can ask that of any of the women who came to my retreats, any of the women who has come to my in-person summits. The belonging happens in the room. And I'll tell you why it was important for me to curate it this way is because I've shown up in a plenty of rooms where I let myself hide. Hear me. I paid money to be there and I let myself hide. Hide on the back row, quiet, taking it all in, but not really letting myself be seen. I allowed myself to downplay the brilliance of what I was able to bring to the table, not because I didn't belong, but because it was easy to avoid taking up space as I wrestled through all of the fears that we've talked about today. This isn't a mission that I played small. Even when I had big ideas, I played small. I was present, but I wasn't participating. I was curious, but I was cautionary. And that's exactly why I created the experiences that I do now, because I want you to get what you came for. I want you to get what you came for. I don't want you to shrink in the room. I want you to rise in the room. I want you to feel seen. I want you to feel heard. And I want you to be able to take the vision that you have for your business. Take the vision you have for your business to the next level, to the next level. And I know that's possible because I designed this room. I designed this room to draw you in and not leave you out. And so as I wrap up today, I just want to say to you that the doors are still open for Corporate to Entrepreneur Live. It is going to be an incredible experience. It's going to take place in Charlotte, North Carolina. The details are still unfolding. I had an incredible conversation last night, and I was only on the phone with the person for 10 minutes, and they are so excited to serve us. This is the magic of going to your next level. This is the magic of being in a room that's moving in the direction that you want to go. And so the registration is still open. Seats are being claimed and seats are being taken. And I am showing up, continuing to let you know that the vision that God has given you is necessary. It is not random. You are being called to your next level. And this is a room that is moving in the direction that you need to go. And so here's my invitation for you to go to www.theceoshift.live. This is an invitation for you to prioritize yourself. And I had to laugh because I was sharing this with one of my clients. And I said, you know what? All that time you say, well, I got to get things ready. You got to get ready time. This is happening in October. It's August now. You make the commitment to yourself to be in the room. You got get ready time. Decide today that you are going to move forward to your next level and that you're going to get into this space that will help you do that. So again, go to www.theceoshift.live. And guess what, y'all? I'll be back tomorrow. To share more, but you don't want to miss out on grabbing your seat because once we are hit capacity, the doors will close. I'm not changing my location, so the doors will close. Y'all have a good night. Bye-bye.